shit.
Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the latest edition of the BOFA Sports Webcast. It is that time to breathe again after a holiday break. So we hope everybody is back refreshed from the holiday break. A lot had happened over the break in the sports realm, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But there was also some tragedy that had happened down in New Orleans on New Year's Day. About three in the morning, where you had a dude, he took his truck and ran down people on Bourbon Street. And so to those victims and their families, in our thoughts and prayers. And can we get the hate out of the world? I mean, goodness gracious. People can't even go out and celebrate New Year's without having to worry about people. It's crazy. So
yeah, I mean, not only did that happen in New Orleans, but you got the shooting that happened that like later that night, maybe the next night, maybe later that morning or something. Anyway, there was a shooting in New York that killed 10 people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that one. I mean, that one came across my feed, and I was like, where's the world going, man? Like, why's everybody gotta kill everybody?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. Again, you can't go anywhere now without having to worry about that stuff. So, I mean, it's just, again, take care of each other, look out for each other, and if there is any type of tension between one another, let's sweep that off to the side, and let's let bygones be bygones, because you just never know what can happen from day to day. With that, we're going to make the difficult transition over to what has happened in this college football playoff. And Patrick, look, all right, before we get into the games, why can we, it's another thing that gets on my nerves about people, why can we just let things play out? Why is it when something happens in this playoff, the first year having 12 teams, why is it, oh, we got to fix it? How do you know it needs fixing? You know, like, how do we even know it needs fixing? So we were just judging this right off of a few games that had happened. So, yeah, I get it. You had all four teams that had a bye, Oregon, Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State. All four teams who had a bye lose in the quarterfinals in their first game going. And so now everybody is saying, oh, well, since those other teams were already playing and they had a game under their belt, they were more sharp. So we're just going to sit here and just react after the fact. What if one of those home teams won? What if one of those teams won?
So here's the thing, Charles, and you know how it is, right? So this is the one thing I loved about Kirby Smart's comments. And they asked him, they said, do you feel like you were playing at a disadvantage because you had that extra week off? And he said, no, that's what we wanted. That's the reason we went out and we won the SEC, because we needed that extra week. He made no excuses. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. He has made excuses throughout the entire year that has put him in this situation where, and I think we talked about this yesterday or Sunday or something. He has been political about the whole thing. But the one thing that I have to give him credit for is he said, when they asked him, do they think he was playing at a disadvantage since Notre Dame had their 1 week of play, he goes, no, we wanted the SEC. We got it. We needed that break. Problem is that, you know, Bobo don't know how to put together a game plan. And apparently neither does the defensive coordinator. So fire on both. That's the way I see it. Fire on both. But here's the thing. To answer the question is, there only needs to be fixing when your team loses. And that's where people are at. There's only a fix when your team loses. You know what I mean? Conveniency. And what would have happened? This is the thing that would have happened. Instead of the 4 teams that lost saying, well, we need to fix it, it would have been the other 4 teams that lost that said we need to fix it. Well, you know, we need to fix it because let's say the 4 bye teams won. You know, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say the 4 bye teams that would have won. Then we would have said, well, we need to fix it because the teams that lost didn't get enough rest like the other teams. You can't have it both ways, dude. Like, you can't have it both ways. I mean, that's for one. That's the reason why me and you had always said 8 teams was perfect. There's no bye weeks. You get them in, you get them out. Done. There's no bye weeks. There's nobody complaining that they need another bye week, and there's nobody complaining that they got too much time off. But it's all about convenience, like you said. It's all about convenience. Because if the 4 teams that got a bye week won and the other teams lost, then those 4 teams would have been complaining about how they didn't get enough rest and they had to go back-to-back weeks in a playoff. So, whatever.
It's sickening. Like it's gross. It makes me sick how people do try to play both sides of the spectrum, and if something does not work out, it automatically needs to be fixed. Like, how do we get there? Because all I kept hearing throughout this year is, man, this new 12-team playoff is coming up. It's going to be fun, and we're going to get to see what these teams can do in a scenario where you do have someone like a Boise State, like a SMU, or maybe an Indiana. They come in and see what they can do, and then they got beat. And now it's, we knew they couldn't do anything anyway.
Okay. See what they could do. Well, this is what they did. I mean, look, yeah, they got beat, but at least they got their opportunity. That's a change. That's a step in the right direction. Boise State, Arizona State, SMU, all got their chance. That's all these. See, to me, that's what I saw as Boise State, SMU, and Arizona State. They were all. That's all. Those conferences. That's all they were asking is an opportunity. Well, they got it. And they realized we got some work. Okay. Well, at least now we know that we got some work to do. Okay. Now they can go to work. They got their opportunity. I don't know. Yes. Does it need to be fixed? I'm not going to say fixed. It does need to be cleaned up. Other than that, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, how cleaned up? What would your suggestions be?
I mean, if they're going to, if the committee is going to go one way or the other, let the populace know. Hey, look, we're going to judge by head to head, or we're going to judge by strength of schedule. You know, don't be flip floppy. Don't do all of that stuff. Stick to a subject and do it. They did pretty much this year, but clean it up just a little bit. Just do a little bit of housework that gets everybody on the same page, where everybody knows that they can bitch and complain about something else. That's all I'm saying. As far as how they've done the whole thing, I don't have a problem with it. That's coming from a fan. That's coming from a fan that lost.
I would let it be. I would let it be at least for another year, because
you got to have data on it. But housekeeping is not fixing it. Housekeeping is just housekeeping. Just clean it up just a little bit. That's all I'm asking.
What's going on, Philip?
What's up, man?
Hope you had a good break over Christmas and New Year's. For me, look, when you have stuff together, or when you do something like this, I think it should get 2 years at least before anything happens. Before you want to say, before you want to say, oh, maybe it needs to be swept up here, or maybe it needs to be mopped over there. Let's see how this thing materializes for a little bit. I get everybody wants to react right off of the latest thing, and then your hot takers are out here saying things need to be not just house kept, just it needs fixing. The system,
they act like the whole system is broken.
I come on, man. Like, how do we know it's broken when the system just got put in? We don't even have, we really don't have data points. So
yeah, I give it enough data, and then we'll go from there. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. And after 2 years, do I feel like there will be a little bit of housekeeping here and there? Yeah, because I mean, we can always look, any system that you can put in after the first 2 years, you can make better. That's not a problem. We all know that. What I'm saying is stop jumping to conclusions. I mean, like the whole thing with Arizona State, how the ball bounced off the ground and went through the uprights, and it still should be counted. I mean,
that's never been counted ever.
That's never been counted. And then they want to pull out Rule 8 of Section 1744-33 with the this and that. I'm like, where are you pulling this out of? Hypothetically, it bounces off the ground and goes through the upright. Guess what? It's actually ruled dead once a person hits it. So it's done. I don't get where they're coming up with these rules.
And they wouldn't be looking for these rules if, again, they didn't.
If they would have won.
So
now you're just digging. Now you're just digging. I mean, come on. Give it a couple of years. Look,
pathetic. And now y'all should know. Don't come on this show with any excuses. Do not try to come on here. You have whatever comments that y'all want to leave. And
no, you should come on here with them. Please. Nope. Please come on here with them. Look,
this is not the excuse making show.
I'll straight up tell you, Georgia lost that game because they did not come with a game plan at all. At all. Offense, defense, special teams. And to be honest with you, if Kirby Smart came with a half-assed game plan, we would have won. That's how good I think Georgia is. A half-assed game plan would have won that game against Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not that good, and they proved that they're not that good. I mean, we made mistake after mistake after mistake. I mean, dude, wide open drop ball from Bell. I mean, come on, dude.
I think Notre Dame is good, though, man. Like,
not good enough to win that game.
Just being this garbage and y'all
not good enough to win that game.
That's not what happened, Patrick.
Not good enough to win that game.
So y'all just gave them the game. That's what you're saying?
I'm not saying we just didn't play. We had no game plan on offense that worked. Hell, we even talked about this, Charles. What is Georgia's number one thing that they run on? What they do on offense? Run the ball. You said what? They abandoned it when?
Yeah, they didn't come in there. They didn't come in there with a good game plan. It's almost like they came in there wanting to prove Gunnar Stockton can throw the ball.
Could throw the ball.
So
that's not how you win.
It wasn't a good game plan. But Marcus Freeman did not outcoach Kirby Smart in some of those things too.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and deny that they're not. They are a good team. They are not better than Georgia. It's as simple as that. I just don't feel they are. If Kirby Smart would have put together a game plan, he had 3 weeks. I mean, I'm sorry. Look, I get it. Gunnar Stockton, they all want to prove it. But, dude, he's played in a half a game. Any smart coach runs the ball. And you've got what in the backfield, and you don't want to run the ball? Come on. And then on top of that, and I told you this, how do you blitz? How do you average blitz 38% of the time, and then in this game you only blitz 18? I mean, come on. That's how I felt about the entire game. Notre Dame is a good team. They are. And Freeman outcoached Kirby Smart on several different occasions. That whole moving the field goal unit out thing, perfect. And the timing, that one timing where they had the entire defense move and caught Georgia offside, he called that on the perfect time. I mean, so there's a lot of things that he did right, and that would have made it harder for Georgia. But I do feel that Georgia was a better team. I just wish Kirby Smart would have came with a game plan on offense and defense and get Bobo out. I don't care how good friends you are.
Yeah, I know, and I think so. What I was wondering, which I said before these games got played, I don't know, maybe Georgia heard me because I know that's what I was kind of looking for, was to see if Gunnar Stockton can throw down the field. When he came in against us in the SEC championship game, yes, he had a high completion percentage, but a lot of those were short throws, quick, your favorite bubble screens, and slants. He had the one throw to y'all tight end, Delp. That went about 15 yards, close to 20 yards. But other than that, it was a lot of short throws. So I guess Georgia came out with this game plan to say, we are going to throw the ball all over the field. And like we discussed, and like you said just now, when you have a young quarterback, a quarterback who has just played half a game, the best way to get them in there, get them settled, is to run the football, and then you can use some play action, then take your shots down the field. So I'm totally with you with the game plan. I don't know what Georgia was doing there, coming out just wanting to throw the ball all over the place with Gunnar, just to prove that they can throw the ball. I don't understand how ETN and Frazier do not get more carries in there. The defense didn't blitz enough. And even with that, Notre Dame had a touchdown that was set up by the defense, where they got set up off of a turnover at the 10-yard line, and then they scored on the next play, and then a kickoff return at the beginning of the second half. So it was just, Notre Dame might not be the better team on paper, but what they did do, they played a cleaner game. And
what they did on the field, they did right. I have to give them that. They penalized themselves. They shot themselves in the foot a lot, which I was kind of expecting. But at the same time, when they needed that big play, they did it right. When he needed something that just threw Georgia off, he called it. He called it right. I mean, he was very precise on his play call. So I give Notre Dame's entire coaching staff that they called the right play at the right time a lot of the times. I will give them that. But yeah, Georgia on paper is a better team, but that day, Notre Dame was the better team. Obviously, or they wouldn't have won.
So with the other games that had happened, so we escaped. I will say this about Arizona State: that is a very scrappy team. They did a very good job of shutting down our running game. We couldn't get a good running game going, and they hung in, and man, Cam Scadaboo put that team on his back. Man, I mean,
he got tired of playing.
Yeah,
he went out and played. That's what that was. I did not see that coming in the fourth quarter, bro.
No, it's 24-8. I said, all right, we about to put this away. We get this fourth down stop. All right, now we can start.
And then he threw a touchdown, and I was like,
yeah, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, uh-oh.
What? I was like, and it was effortlessly 40 yards. I was like, okay, Cam, I wasn't expecting any of that, but okay. And then he started running, and I was like, crap. And then all of a sudden it was a tie, and I was like,
but he caught a pass. He caught that long pass to set him up for the tying touchdown. And so I mean, he went. He did
everything. He's catching, running, throwing.
I'll give him that. He went beast mode for that fourth quarter and the first part of overtime. He went beast mode.
Yeah. He put in a cheat code and started whooping out his ass. That's what XY, triangle, AB. Remind me of that game. What is it? King Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball. You put that code in, he hits a home run every time.
Yeah. You talking about the old school Nintendo.
Yeah.
Put them codes in.
Yeah.
What? Up, down, left, right. Left, right.
Yeah. Up, down, left, right. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Kim Scatterboo, he was like, hey, Scatterboo presents NCAA football. Left, right. Up, down, A-B. Touchdown.
Man, we got it together in the right on time. I mean, the 4th and 13 touchdown pass that you were through the golden to, I guess, get the momentum back. And we scored with us pass to our tight end, Gunnar Helm. And then Makuba came up with the interception to pull it out, man. I mean, that was a thrilling game.
That was a nail biter, man.
Yeah, definitely had me sitting there like, well, and I'll tell you what I was thinking when I'm sitting on the couch watching this. I said, you know what? This is what we get. We should have put this team away. But we couldn't. We didn't. We play with our food a little bit.
Yeah,
We've kind of done that this year. And we'll have a team down by, let's say, about 14 to 17 points. But we don't make the play to put it into 20. They're always still hanging around. And a team like Arizona State, you can't let them hang around because they're not going anywhere. And they showed that. We need to learn our lessons real quickly because this Ohio State team we're going to play is coming in here buzzsawing. So, so they ran over Oregon. And I mean, they were up 34-0 in that game before it turned into, 41-21 was the final score. And I mean, this is a team that they went back. It's apparent they went back to, we're going to just get the ball in the hands of the playmakers and let them do their thing. I think what happened to Ohio State was it was getting beat up by Michigan. Then lost to Michigan the last 4 times. And this year, they wanted to go to more of a, I guess, physical team. And then Michigan still beat them, being physical. So coming into that game against Tennessee, they just said, nope, we're going to go back to what we recruited. Fast receivers, fast running backs. Let's get the ball out of Will Howard's hands in this case. Of course, the years before it's been C.J. Stroud. But let's get the ball. And wait a minute. Kyle McCord. That's who it was the year before or last year before he went to Syracuse. But yeah, I mean, they went in there and they just went back to getting the skill position guys involved, and they've been running over teams. I mean, they beat a good Tennessee team by a lot, and they took out the number 1 seed, undefeated Oregon Ducks. And
very handily. Yeah. Mind you. And it's funny. It's funny because we mentioned it on the show. What do you do? If you're Ohio State, you're Ryan Day, what do? You pass the ball and open up the run game, and guess what they did? Pass the ball and open up the run game. And as soon as they did that, I was like, especially against Oregon, when they did that, and I was like, and then they jumped out. What was it? 14-0 in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they jumped out to that and then ran the ball and got another 20 points. I was like, yeah, I turned it on, and when I turned it on, because I was having to handle some stuff, and when I finally got home, I was able to watch that game. It had already been 34-8. I was like, yeah, I mean, I had Ohio State winning that game because I felt they were mad. And yeah, I went back and looked at some of those highlights. Pass, run. Pass, run. Next thing I know, it was run, pass, run, run. I was like, you can't stop them. You can't. Yeah,
there was nothing they couldn't do in that game, and Oregon just looked completely off balance and didn't have any answers.
And lost. We're lost.
Yeah. And then Penn State, Look, Boise State, I thought they put together a good effort. This wasn't a. I know the final score was 31-14, but Penn State, or excuse me, Boise State, that game was 17-14 in the third quarter, and then Penn State's tight end, Tyler Warren, made a beast play in the back of the end zone. Did pretty much jump ball this dude and caught a touchdown. And Boise State had chances. They missed 2 field goals, had a couple of other red zone opportunities, threw an interception on one of them, and then Singleton broke off the run and put the game out of reach. So I don't think this was as much Boise State couldn't hang. I don't think Boise State was just outclassed or out of their league.
They just got beat by. I mean, they just got beat by.
Penn State's better. Penn State is better.
Penn State is better.
All that.
So, when I was looking at the game, that game wasn't like one-sided at all. I mean, like you said, it was 17-14 in the third quarter before Penn State scored their 7 points in the third quarter. So, I mean, it looks a little one-sided, but that score was, I mean, to me, it just kind of looked like Boise State as a whole kind of started running out of gas, and you could see it. And Penn State wasn't. They were full force going out playing football, and I just kind of felt like, at a certain point right there about halfway through the third quarter, Boise State started losing some steam, and they just couldn't. I mean, their wide receivers were slower. I haven't really seen Boise State play like a lot this year, but I have watched them to know enough that they play faster than they played against Penn State, and you could tell they were starting to run out of steam. It's just a long season for them. They're not used to it being in their conference for the past however many years, and now you're coming in and you're normally their season is done by now, and now they're in here in January having to play, and it's kind of a little different for them. So I chalk it up to a lot of things. I chalk it up to inexperience. I chalk it up to depth, and just they got a lot of learning lessons in that game, and I think they'll be back stronger next year. I really do. I think they're going to be a good team moving forward. It's just sometimes you just don't know what to expect until you know what to expect.
And so now you have the semifinals that are set up. So you will have Notre Dame playing Penn State in the Orange Bowl. That game is Thursday night. And then in the Cotton Bowl, that is Ohio State and Texas. So before we start talking about those games, I have to pull up this handy dandy graphic because it looks like Patrick is going to win this thing for the year. He is up by 3 with 3 games to play, or 3 games to pick for the season. And so unless I hit a perfect score somewhere, then it's not looking good, as you can see with Patrick's smile. And so he went 3-1 in those
2 years in a row, baby.
Yeah, so he went. It is 3 in a row. So it was, and it's always close though. Like it was always close. You're winning by 1 or 2 games, but this one looked like you've been pulling away. I don't know about this one game every year getting better. I don't know about that, but yeah, it's not over.
The record point proves it. That's all I'm saying. The record is there.
No, it's not over yet. So I'm gonna see if I can get one of these final scores in these last.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a chance.
Right. I don't need no chances. I create my chances. So I got.
Well, good luck.
It just depends if I can take advantage of them when I create them. And lately I haven't been. So you got. I went 2-2 because I missed the Penn State Boise State game. Patrick had Penn State winning, and we both missed Georgia and Notre Dame. So with that, let's get into these couple of quarterfinals here. And quarterfinals, semifinals, and we'll start with Notre Dame and Penn State. So, as mentioned earlier, this is going to be the Orange Bowl being played down in Miami. Of course, Notre Dame's coming off the win against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Penn State beating Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl, and this looks like a matchup that is similar styles. Both teams like to run the football. Both teams have good pass rushers, and the special teams for both teams have been pretty solid. So it looks like on paper that this could be a game that goes down to the wire. They both, again, they like to run the football with. Penn State has that tandem of Allen and Singleton, Jeremiah Love for the Irish, and I guess maybe it'll just be a battle of who plays better at quarterback between Riley Leonard and Drew Ayler. So, Patrick, what do you have for this game? Your winner and the score.
Well, Notre Dame coming off that big win against Georgia, and we discussed that one. I'm gonna go Penn State, and this is the reason why. I feel Penn State's going to be far more disciplined. You're going to deal with, I feel, a better organized offense and a better organized defense than they dealt with Georgia. So I feel, and Penn State's not going to abandon the run. I really do feel that Penn State does not abandon the run because they're just not that type of team to do that. This year, we've constantly asked, has Penn State been able to pull that trigger and get past the big win? They haven't proved to us that they can get past Ohio State and Michigan, but they have proved to us that they are ready to play against the big teams. That is not Ohio State and Michigan. So I'm going to go Penn State. And I think Penn State, I kind of feel Penn State runs all over this team. And it's not going to be a big score. I don't think that Penn State is going to score a lot of points, but they're going to own the ball a lot. Run the ball, get a few passes here and there. I'm going to go 27. I'm going to go 28-24 Penn State. But yeah, I think Penn State runs the ball and they don't abandon the run like Georgia did.
So I maybe this is that chance that you're talking about, because I'm going to go Notre Dame here. And I'm going to go Notre Dame because if this game is close, which I feel it will be close, because I think both of these teams, they're pretty evenly matched. They both like to run the football. The defenses are pretty solid for both teams as well. If this gets into a coaching matchup, I'm definitely taking Marcus Freeman over James Franklin any day of the week. And also with Penn State, there hasn't been that pressure, that game pressure in the fourth quarter, which is good on them because that's showing they are going in there, they're taking care of their business. Hell, I wish our team would take care of business like that. But Penn State is going in and they are getting the teams out of there. They got SMU out of there pretty quickly. Boise State was hanging in there, but like you mentioned, running the football, they broke off a big run, put the game away. And I think now they're going against a team that is similar, like just pretty much, I would say, damn near mirror images of each other. I mentioned the quarterbacks, both of them like to be dual threats, kind of run the ball, make these crucial runs to get first downs and keep drives going. I have the same score you have, actually, just reverse. So because I think it will.
That makes it interesting.
Yeah, because I think it will be close like that. Because I was going to say 27-24. I was like, no, you know what? No, Notre Dame's probably going to score a couple touchdowns. So, or four. I'll say they'll score a few. So, yes, I'm going to go 28-24 Notre Dame. Basically, for the same reasons that you have for Penn State. I'm just going in Notre Dame's direction.
Yeah, dude. But you said they're the same exact team. Just one wears white helmets and the other one wears gold helmets, and that's about it. I mean, look,
To be a test of Will's game, dude. Like, who's tougher? A test of Will's game. Who's tougher?
Yeah, who's going to be the tougher team? And here's another thing. I 100% agree with you on this. If it becomes down to a coaching decision, I'm going to huff and puff because I'm going to be mad at that one. But I'm going that I don't think it's going to come down to a coaching decision. I think that it's going to be handled on the field. The players are going to handle it, and Penn State's going to run the ball. Now, don't get me wrong. If it turns out Notre Dame wins this game, I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, because it wouldn't surprise me. Because I do feel Notre Dame is a good enough team to beat this Penn State team. Either way the case may be, regardless of who wins Texas and Ohio State, there's going to be your national championship. I just really feel that way. So if Ohio State wins, there's your national champion. If Texas wins, there's your national champion. I just feel that those two teams are going to make these two teams look dumb. I really do. So regardless of that situation, either way the case may be, they're going to lose the next game. but yeah, I would not be surprised one bit Notre Dame.
So speaking of that Texas-Ohio State game, so this is the Cotton Bowl that will be played in Jerry World, Arlington, Texas, suburb of Dallas-Fort Worth, and it's a home game for Texas. Let's be real. Austin is about 2.5 hours from there. So, no secret. I'm going with Texas, but I also understand this. We are about a 6.5 point underdog in this game. And Ohio State has looked the best. Out of all the teams in the playoffs, they have looked the most impressive. So, here's what I believe has to happen if we are going to pull this win out, and then I'll give you my final score. So Ohio State has went back to let's get the ball in their hands, or the skill position people's hands. Don't worry about trying to be physical. Let's just go toward what we recruited and get the ball in the hands of all these receivers and running backs. Mm-hmm. With Will Howard, we're familiar with Will Howard from our days in the Big 12 when he was at Kansas State. The thing with Will Howard is he's, in most cases, going to either run the football or he's going to look for that first read. If he doesn't have the first read, then he's probably going to take off and run. So in this case, his first read has been that beast receiver Ohio State has in Jeremiah Smith. So somehow we need to find a way to take Smith away, or at least contain him. Well, we have the best DB in the land. We got Jahdae Barron. So maybe we can match him up. Look, Jeremiah Smith's going to get his, don't get me wrong. But
he's gonna get his. Yeah. I would not be surprised if he gets 14 targets, 8 catches, 116 yards with a touchdown. He'll get his. But you know what? At that point, he was locked down. Just saying. Just saying.
But we got the best DB in the land. He's the Thorpe Award winner in Jahdae Barron. And so maybe I'm interested to see how Texas comes out if they say, hey, Jahdae, you got Jeremiah. Good luck. And the rest of us, we're blitzing Will Howard. And so,
yeah. If they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us with somebody else.
Yeah. Or we do some double coverage. We got good safeties too. So I think the secondary is equipped to go at it back and forth with Ohio State's receivers on offense, or on for our defense. On our offense, if Ohio State has said they're not going to play physical, then let's make them play physical. Let's run the football at them at will. We got this big offensive line. We need to establish the run. No questions asked. If we don't establish the run, we may be in some trouble. We need to establish the run. Quinn Ewers, I mean, there's times where he's making the throws and he looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the land. And then other times, like that throw he made against Arizona State where he just chucked it up into double coverage. I said, what are you doing? Why?
Yeah.
You determined you was throwing there. You didn't even care what the coverage was. You just said you're throwing it.
Yeah.
We can't have those. And so I think this will be one of those games. I think it will be close. I think Ohio State will have to win this game. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to win it in the fourth quarter. And just like with the coaching in the Penn State Notre Dame game, this same thing. I'm taking Steve Sarkisian over Ryan Day all day, every day, if it comes down to that. So I think it will come down to that. I think we pull it out by a score of 32-27.
Ooh, that's really close to my score. Here's my deal on Quinn Ewers. Between the 20s, rock solid all day, every day, baby. In the red zone, Carson Beck all day, every day, baby. Oh, God. So, as everybody knows, Georgia is out. And at that point, if you don't know the SEC, I'm going to explain it to you. We are ride or die with our team. I will bleed red and black all day, every day. But when my team cannot do it, when they are done, and it takes a loss like last week for that to happen, that's when they are statistically out. That is the only way I'll root for another SEC team. So now I am hook 'em for the rest of the season. So once these 2 games are over, I'm done. Obviously, that tells you who I got. I do have Texas. And this is another one that if Quinn Ewers will just if it takes Quinn Ewers throwing from the 21 to throw a touchdown, then stick to that. Do not get in the red zone, because every time he gets in the red zone, he screws everything up. Throw from the 21 if you have to. I don't care. But I do think it's going to be close, because I do think Ryan Day is going to come out doing exactly what he has been doing for the past 2 games.
He's going to look for that haymaker.
He's going to do it. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit Ryan Day step out there on that very first play and throws one down the field and test your corner really quickly. Yeah, where are we at? And if he gets a touchdown, Texas could be in for a long day. He does not. It could be possible that Texas has got his number. I'm not going to sit and say the play one is going to judge the way this game is going to turn. What I'm saying is it's going to make Ryan Day think, can we do that again? Or do we need to make sure that we have other options? I don't know how Ryan Day is going to think about it, but I will tell you this. He is going to take his shot. Of course. And those wide receivers are going to get theirs. Question is can Texas stop them one time and keep that lead? I'm going to go 31-29 Texas. I think Texas can pull it off, and it's going to be I'll go 31-28. I'll go 31-28 Texas. But man, Ryan Day's going to come out throwing. And I know he's going to come out throwing. First quarter, it wouldn't surprise me he throws 15 out of 20 times just to establish that throw, just to get that run game going. If it comes down to physicality, then he's just playing right into Texas' hand. So he has to play his football or he's going to get whipped. That Texas team is physical. I've watched that team all season. I know how physical they are. I know what they bring to the table, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Day does too. So if it comes down to physicality, they don't want that. Texas is far more physical than Michigan, and Michigan beat them by 3. So if it gets down to a physicality, that ain't going to be no 31-28. That's going to be 31-10, and y'all going and Ohio State going home quick. You know what I mean? So he's going to have to play his type of football and force Texas to play that type of football. Good thing about it is, like you said, your secondary can handle that. So that's the reason why I think Texas can win this game, should win this game. But I will say this. We've all seen Quinn Ewers play. Great quarterback when he wants to be. Kind of iffy when he doesn't. And if he brings any kind of iffy, doesn't know what he's doing, has that look when he's on the sidelines, Ohio State's going to win that game. He's got to come in prepared. He's got to come in. He's going to start and end with Quinn Ewers. And he better be ready to handle that stage. Texas, 31-28.
Defensive line has to eat for us. Go ahead. We need to get pressure on Will Howard early. He's been really comfortable in these last couple of games. And those receivers with Jeremiah Smith, Ibuka, you got the running backs with Judkins and Henderson. I mean, there's a lot of weapons for Ohio State to handle, but that defense we have with Simmons coming off the end, Anthony Hill, they got to eat. We need to make sure that we get that pressure and hit Will Howard often and early and often, however that goes. And then, run the football.
Run the football. And don't play this, let's run it to the outside. Look, there's only one team that's been beat up by running to the outside, and they got eliminated last week. Don't run it. Just run it up the gut. Those two wide running backs that Texas has, they're physical, they're big, they're fast, and they can hit. Run it up the gut and force that team to be physical. If you force that team to be physical where they don't have a choice but to be physical, you can dominate that line. The offense side and the defense side. Texas is a more physical team, and they have proved that time and time again all season. All you got to do is make them play your football, and they will. They will, because if you can make them one-dimensional, all they're going to do is throw it. And if they feel like they got to be physical, they're going to lose that game. So they know that. So they're not going to run it like everybody wants to think. That Michigan stopped their run with their second string. So they can't be physical enough than that Texas team. So Texas forces them to be physical. Texas has got it.
All right, Patrick. Well, shoot. Let's get into excuse me. Let's get into the NFL. By the way, if you don't mind me asking, who are you talking to, Patrick? Who are you talking to?
What are you talking about?
Are you talking to anybody on the side? Because you keep on looking over to the side.
No, it's I got my other computer screen. Right here. I got a long.
Yeah, I thought you was like looking like at the couch.
No, I'm looking. You seen the room? I got that one long computer screen that's right there to the left.
I thought somebody was sitting at the couch.
No, I'm looking at that computer screen because I'm getting ready for my streaming.
Aaron said that you're talking to Russell Williamson. What's going on, Aaron?
Russell, what's up? Russell Williamson, where you been?
So let's move on.
I appreciate it. I've been working on it.
I love it. And so the NFL.
Russell Williamson loves it too. He told me.
And so the NFL.
He's like, you need to get it all red and get these gray spots out. I was like, look, Russ.
The NFL is going to the.
Me and Aaron's talking about my beard. Let me talk about my beard.
Look, he gave you your compliment. You took the compliment. So don't get all egotistical on me, Patrick. Don't do it.
You know that's me.
Yeah, it is. So
let me look at Russell Williamson and get my notes.
So in the NFL, we have the wild card playoffs about to start and 6 games to go through, Patrick. So we'll just run through these bad boys in order and pick them out, see what we got. The first game that is starting is before I get to the games. Remember that the Kansas City Chiefs are the team with the bye in the AFC, and in the NFC, it's the Detroit Lions coming off of a really impressive win over the Minnesota Vikings that gave them that number 1 seed. And it's really needed for Detroit because they have a lot of people beat up on defense. So they're one of those teams that could use that bye. But it's going to be tough to come up there to either one of those places to get a win. So those two get to sit at home while the other 12 teams are playing. And we'll start in the AFC. The Los Angeles Chargers go to Houston to play the Texans. The Texans have not looked that good lately. I know they finished with a win over the Tennessee Titans, but when it's come to playing the contenders, they had a loss to Kansas City. They got destroyed on Christmas Day by the Baltimore Ravens. And they're kind of coming in leaking a little bit. The Chargers are trying to change the narrative about them that says when these games come up, they fall apart. Maybe there's some reason for optimism now that you have Jim Harbaugh as the coach, and they were able to get this 5th seed because the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we'll talk about next, fell apart. Totally fell apart. So now, here you go. Chargers and Texans. What do we have for this score, Patrick? Who you got winning?
Are we picking the score? We're doing this for NFL?
I don't know. I don't know if we were going to do like a...
Well, we haven't done it all season because I haven't really tried. I haven't really thought about it that way. But I can do it.
No, just pick a winner. We'll just pick a winner.
God.
Oh, and Aaron said, and I'm with Aaron on that, the Texans are always the first game on day 1 of the playoffs.
Always. So. They're always first one to lose, too.
Yeah. No, they won last year. They beat the Browns last year.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They did, didn't they? That's right. Normally, they're the first one to lose, except for last year. But,
Are they the first ones to lose this year?
Dude, I'm going to say yes. I think the Texans lose. And it's because they really are limping into the playoffs. They really are. And I don't know if I'm not going to sit and say Harbaugh is going to change is the reason why the Chargers are going to win. I know they have a narrative the same way, but the way Texas or the way the Texans are limping into the playoffs, I just really don't know where Stroud can go. You know, he's going to be I don't know if he can manage that offense like that. I don't really know how to explain it, but I can say this. I got the Chargers winning. And are we picking scores?
No, we don't have the big scores for these.
I was going to say 27-24 if we need to.
Okay. we don't have to. No, these are these are just.
I'll go with the Chargers because I do feel the Chargers are a little bit more of a complete team right now on both sides of the ball. And I don't know how Houston can handle with their injuries the way they have them coming into the playoffs. So I'm going to go Chargers.
So, I'm going to go Houston because they're familiar with playing on the first day at 4:30.
You really kept the explanation simple. That's my job. I should have done that. I went way complicated. I'm going to go Chargers because they're changing the narrative to this year. There you go. We'll fix it. There you go. We'll fix it.
I think the thing with the Chargers is, I guess this is a situation where I have to see it to believe it from them. The Chargers have been this but team. Hey, they're really good, but hey, it looks like they're starting to show they can compete with these other strong teams in the AFC. But defense not quite good enough. Justin Herbert supposed to be this elite guy, but hasn't really shown that he's this elite guy outside of a few ridiculous throws. The dude's got some. I'll give him that. He's got ridiculous arm talent. But I think the Texans will find a way to pull this out because that look, it's their customary spot. They're at home. I think they will pull this out.
Pull it out.
Yep. So I'll go Houston here. I think CJ Stroud will make enough plays, and the defense will find a way to get pressure on Justin Herbert and force some picks. Whether that's a sack, maybe it's not even a pick. Maybe it's a sack, fumble. Get one of these blitzes that come on through. I think it'll be close, but I think Houston will pull this one out. All right. Well, next game is the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Baltimore Ravens. So yeah.
What do we need to say? What do we need to say?
Like, so I will say this. So Aaron kind of has our sentiments here because he said they're dog water bad. But yes, the Steelers, you talk about limping into the playoffs. My goodness.
Yeah.
They have not looked good at all. And their offense has hit the skids is probably nice. It seems like sometimes they're having trouble completing forward passes.
Yeah.
And so now they're playing against the Ravens, who are coming in and rolling. The only thing I will say about it, because I got Baltimore too, of course, but this is a rivalry. So I expect the best will come from Steelers. This is one of the best rivalries in the NFL. Well, traditionally. But I don't see that rivalry part really playing into this. I do think Baltimore is going to win pretty solidly. And even though we're not really picking a score, I would...
17.
I would be pretty shocked if it wasn't by 14 to 17 points. I think Baltimore is solidly winning this game.
I will say this about Baltimore. They won't need it in this game, but somebody else other than Jackson needs to step up.
Why? I got Derrick Henry.
Well, he needs to make sure he steps up because he has not been the Derrick Henry in the last 2 or 3 games that we have come accustomed to see. So he needs to make sure he shows up. He may not need it in this game, but Derrick Henry needs to show up.
He did have he had 135 something yards last game. Sure, Derrick Henry did run for almost like 1,900 yards this year. He been pretty consistent.
Yeah, but he had most of those in the first 14 games.
He had 135 yards last game, Patrick.
Either way the case may be, somebody else besides Lamar Jackson needs to be running the ball, and Derrick Henry better run for more than 135 yards. That's the case.
This right here, playoff time, is what they got Derrick Henry for.
Yeah,
I think he will be showing up this game, and going forward, since we do both have a win. All right, so those are your Saturday games. So let's go over to the Sunday slate where you have a triple header. And the first game that day is the Denver Broncos clinching their playoff berth on the last day of the season. With rookie quarterback Bo Nix, they go to Buffalo to play the Bills, the second seed in the AFC. And this could be an interesting game. Could be. Denver is a team that they have a pretty good defense. I think they can get some pressure on Josh Allen and make him a little bit uncomfortable. I believe as the game goes along, though, I just think Buffalo is just a little bit better at this point. And of course, with that game being played in Buffalo, and Buffalo's undefeated at home this year as well. I think Buffalo will have a little bit too much for them. So I got Buffalo winning by like a touchdown to 10 points.
I agree with you because at a certain point, I do feel we're going to see Backyard Bo in this game.
Yes, that too. Yep.
I do feel that, and that really kind of ruins Denver's hopes when Backyard Bo shows up. He puts on his cape and thinks that he's going to take over the game and outdo everything on everybody. But I will give a shout out to Bo about this. He has had a phenomenal rookie season, and very very impressed with the way he has taken that Denver team to where they are at. So don't get me wrong. I think Bo Nix has been a critical add to that team, but Buffalo's just too freaking strong, man. I agree with you. 7 to 10, maybe 14. I think that backyard Bo shows up, and then that's a wrap for Denver.
Yeah, Denver needs to be balanced.
Yeah.
If they're not balanced, or if Buffalo can get out to a quick lead, that's the backyard Bo situation you're talking about, because you have to throw to get back into the game. The running game is pretty much taken out, and I mean, Buffalo's just they're strong, man. I mean, then being at home again, 8-0, there, I don't see Denver coming in there and winning unless there was a couple of turnovers, something like. Denver needs to force 2 or 3 turnovers in order to pull that game out. If Buffalo plays their best and Denver plays their best, Buffalo's best is better than Denver's best.
Yeah.
So, with that, let's move in. So those are the 3 games in the AFC. Let's move into the NFC. And that first game for the NFC will be the Green Bay Packers going to Philly to play the Eagles. So this one is interesting for injury purposes. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol, and he has not been cleared yet to play in this game. Green Bay, Jordan Love had left the game they played against the Chicago Bears with a wrist injury. So
throwing hand, too.
Yeah, his throwing hand. So I think he'll be good to go, but that's still a little iffy too. So yeah, both of these teams here with their starting quarterbacks a little bit uncertain. They're probably more so for Jalen Hurts, since he hasn't been cleared to do anything yet. So knowing that, this game is going to be pretty interesting, and I tend to think it would be interesting even if Jalen Hurts was in there. What do you see for this game? Do you see Philly being strong, taking care of their business, or can Green Bay pull this out?
Well, I mean, be honest with you, like, neither one of these teams have really looked good in this last several games. It's like they've just done just enough to win. You know what I mean? So I don't, and with the quarterbacks being in the situation they're being in, you don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to be cleared, which I mean, honestly, we're 5 days away. I kind of feel like he will be. So I don't think that they're really going to be like worried about it. But
I do been in concussion protocol for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's a ploy to be like, hey, we're gonna throw them off. They don't know who we're gonna throw out there. I don't even know who we're gonna throw out there right now. But even with Jalen Hurts in it, I tend to think Green Bay is a better team, and I think I'm gonna go Green Bay. Not by much. I mean, like, I do think I do think that they are. Let me just keep it simple. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is going to play or not, so I'm going to go Green Bay because I have a little bit more trust in Love than I do Green Bay's or Philly's backup quarterback.
Yeah, so that would be Kenny Pickett. Yes, the same Kenny Pickett who was drafted by the Steelers a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even with that, man, I'm still gonna go Philly here because so Aaron gives a good reason for this too. Love has regressed. Now maybe he picks it back up come playoff time, but Love just has not looked the same. He looks like he's not really not reading the field well. He seems to be getting fooled on coverages. He's eating a lot of sacks that probably should not be eaten. Now I think if Green Bay is able to get the running game going with Josh Jacobs, that I think that's their best way to do it. If you can have Love throw more off of play action instead of putting him back there, and I guess that's any quarterback. If you put them back there 45, 50 times, 55 times,
that's probably expect at least one or two mistakes.
Yeah, that's probably not a good recipe. And Green Bay has ran the ball well with Josh Jacobs. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been he's scored touchdowns, I think, in the last 7 or 8 games, something like that. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the way to get it done here in Philly. Obviously, Green Bay is going to have to find a way to slow down Saquon Barkley on the other end. And if they are able to do that, then whoever it is, whether it's Kenny Pickett or Jalen Hurts, and you got to slow down A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. For me, I think the Eagles are the better team here. I think Green Bay has gotten to the point where they do put a whole bunch on Jordan Love, and I just don't think he's that quarterback yet.
Has the potential to be.
Yes, has the potential. Right now, not quite there. And I think the Eagles can get some pressure on them, force those turnovers, and I got the Eagles winning. I will say I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the Packers did come in here and win. This isn't one of those things where I would be just totally shocked if Green Bay was able to find a way to come to Philadelphia and win. But I think the Eagles are better, so I think the Eagles will pull it out. These last couple of games, though, might be pretty interesting. So your Sunday night game, you got the Washington Commanders coming in here with Jaden Daniels, runaway rookie of the year here, right? And he has galvanized his team. Of course, look, I'm here in DC. I got to see a couple of the games at their home stadium, Northwest Stadium, over there in Maryland, and the way he has had that team just kind of center around them. They have new ownership. It's just a way liver environment here. Now, I'm not going to get too far into how it was when Daniel Snyder was the owner. Yeah, a lot of y'all probably know that.
Everybody already knows that.
Yeah, like this dude he was bad. The stadium was falling apart. It was awful. But now this new ownership, who was coming in with Josh Harris, Magic Johnson's on the group, and it's just a whole different vibe in Washington. So they come to Tampa, and Tampa is they're dangerous because they know, besides what they're bringing with Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans playing well, and the defense starting to hit their stride, they're dangerous because they know they can beat a lot of the teams that are in the playoffs right now. They beat Detroit earlier in the year in Detroit. So if it did come down to a situation where they would have to go to Detroit, they're not scared of that. They're going to feel like they can win that game. They beat Philadelphia earlier in the year. So if they have to go up to Philly, they're not going to be scared of that either.
Yeah, but who did they lose to twice?
And they lost to the Falcons twice.
Wait, crap.
So that's the thing with Tampa Bay. It just depends on the week. But it looks like they are starting to get it together. And this one is interesting. I want to pick Washington. I do. I so want to pick.
I do too. Because I'm rooting for Daniels, man.
Yeah.
But I always liked him in LSU, dude. I like this kid. Yes. Here's the thing: is like I know you can give or take Baker Mayfield.
No,
well, right now you're probably okay with him. About a couple years back, you weren't. I know you weren't.
No, I couldn't stand Baker Mayfield. That's that Oklahoma hate, of course. But
I want to go Washington too, man. I do.
I'm gonna pick Tampa though, man. I think Tampa has a little bit too much. This has been a great story, Patrick. for Washington, and it's good to see them back in the playoffs, looking like they have something to build off in the future. When you got a guy like Dayton Daniels playing the way he is and the way that team has galvanized around him, there's something good going on here in DC. But I do think the ride comes to an end Sunday night in Tampa.
I agree with you. And then the next thing would be is the experience that Baker Mayfield brings in the playoffs. He's got far more experience, and he will make a lot less mistakes than Jaden Daniels does. So as much as I like the kid, as much as I will be rooting for Washington because I really do like the story. But just to me, Baker Mayfield will control the game. The experience that Baker brings to this type of environment, this type of game, I think is one of those things. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Washington's going to show up and just be like, "Hey, we made the playoffs. We're good with that year one." They're not going to do that. I mean, I do feel that it will be close. I mean, Tampa might 4-7. I don't think Washington's coming in just thinking, "Oh, this is just we're happy with where we at." It's not that way. I do think they're coming to win. Daniels is not that type of kid that wants to come in and just be like, they'll come into play. Just the experience with Baker Mayfield just gives Tampa that good edge for me that says I will pick Tampa over Washington.
The thing with the NFC also, both of these games, or all three of these games, are rematches. The Green Bay and Philly, and also Washington and Tampa Bay, they both played each other in week one. And Philly won that game. That game, if you remember, that was in Brazil. That was during the...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they played that one down there, part of the NFL's international series, I guess. So that game was in Brazil. Philly won that one. Washington lost to Tampa Bay week one as well. And Tampa Bay won that one going away. Like you said, though, I think this is a different Washington team, so I think this game will be a little bit closer. And this next game, or the last game we're talking about, the Minnesota Vikings against the LA Rams, was a rematch of a Thursday night game that the Rams won. I think that score was 30-20. So this game is on Monday night, and I think this game can go either way. I'm going to pick the Vikings here, because I would have picked the Rams, but I didn't like how they looked against Seattle. Looking at them play that game against Seattle, it did not look clean, didn't look sharp. And I know Seattle has some weapons on offense that can get loose, but the Rams, they didn't look like they were ready to play. Like, they came in there real lackadaisical. Maybe it was because they knew they had already won the division and they were going to go be in the playoffs anyway. But I didn't like the way they came out there. It wasn't one of those, hey, I can feel confident about this team going in. They look like, yeah, whatever, man. We in the playoffs. Let's get it. I think Minnesota, they kind of got handled. At the end of the game, Detroit pulled away, and they had some opportunities there in that game. They just could not capitalize. They got in the red zone enough, just couldn't score touchdowns. And if you're going to get those chances against Detroit, you need to capitalize on them, because Detroit's going to score. I mean, Detroit's offense, nasty.
Yeah.
So I think Minnesota is going to come in pretty angry off of that game. But I do think this game will be close. I don't think they're going to come in there and blow out the Rams. But I do think it will be pretty much Minnesota West, because the LA Rams have never played a home game. I refuse to believe that they have played a home game. I don't care if they are playing in SoFi Stadium. That is every other else's home stadium, because there's always more fans than Rams fans in those stadiums.
until Monday night when Bandy shows up.
You said,
Hey, I'm just saying, it's been a weird year.
Bandy. Where does Bandy come in this?
Because you said their stadium is more of the opposite team. They never have a home game. That's
Okay. I got
Bandy right here. Guess what? Minnesota's Alabama, and the Rams are going to win this game. I'm giving it to the Rams. I think the Rams will win. Yeah. Bandy. I'm going Rams because of Matthew Stafford. I got to go with my dog.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not where I'm going. I'm going because I really do feel like the Rams could beat the Vikings. Look, the Vikings do everything they could at Detroit. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that is a totally different caliber team. Detroit over the Rams, I think Detroit all day long. All day, every day. Don't get me wrong. But Minnesota threw everything at the Lions and still couldn't beat them. They threw everything at them and still couldn't. I think it was a little deflating for the Vikings. I'm going to think that the Rams could play off of that momentum. So I'm going to go with Rams because of that.
You're right. The Rams do with Stafford there. I mean, that's a championship experience. I mean,
yep.
With him and Cooper Kupp, that tandem, and they still have a good amount of players left from the defense. Although, like the Rams have done, I'll give this to the Rams. They've done a good job of rebuilding this thing. You know, when they did win the Super Bowl, they went all in for those for the championship, and they had no picks to go on through. Good night, Aaron. Take it easy, man. Thanks for coming.
Man, I appreciate you dropping through.
Yeah.
And I'll let Russell Williamson know you say goodnight.
Yeah. So they've done a good job of rebuilding on the fly. You had a lot of those players. They either went on trades or went somewhere to get more money, get a bigger contract. And once they did get those draft picks replenished, they have done a good job of restocking the drawers, restocking the cabinets, if we're going to compare it to a kitchen. So
got that gourmet ramen.
Yeah. Yes.
Chicken and beef.
The bougie ramen. And so
the chili powder or the chili stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Good. That is good.
Well, Patrick, before we hop on out, before we hop on out, man. So we got our picks on there. Just to recap. So the San Diego-Houston game, you're going the Los Angeles Chargers. I know.
Taking it back, dude.
Really? Ooh, pretty bad. But the Chargers and Texans, you got the Chargers, I got the Texans. We agree on the Steelers and Ravens with Baltimore. Agree with Buffalo beating Denver. You got Green Bay, and I got Philly. We agree with Tampa, and you have the Rams winning, and I got the Vikings. Okay. So, yeah, like it. All right. We agree on 3 of them, and then we disagree. Nice balance. I like that.
Yeah, run past balance.
Yeah. So, before we get on out, man, I wanted to bring up this about the NBA because I heard something interesting from Anthony Edwards, the guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I guess he was talking after a loss to the Celtics, talking about he's upset because he's getting doubled. I was cracking up when I heard this because I said, so you're crying because you're getting double teamed. Teams don't want you to beat them. So this is what you do. You take on the double team and pass the ball. And he's talking about he's frustrated because he don't get the chance to cook teams because they're taking the ball out of his hands. Look, if
win the game. If you're getting double teamed, that means somebody's open.
If you're as good as you want to call yourself, figure it out. Figure it out. Every great player has figured out ways to score when they're getting double teamed. So
no, this, you know what this is?
What's that?
You know what this is? This is seriously. You know what this is? New rules are coming to the NBA. Watch. You want to know what they are? They're eliminating the shift. No more double teams. They're gonna be like, no more double teams because everybody, people need time. People need time to cook. Get their gather step, take 4 more steps, and then dunk the ball. Okay. So we're gonna eliminate the travel. You just pick up the ball and run with it if you want to. Who cares anymore? And no more double teams. And we're also going to give the coaches a flag where they can throw a flag on the field and challenge play.
It's funny that he's gonna go and complain about that. But look, and this is the thing. Like, I don't mind Anthony Edwards. He's outspoken. There's some things he says where I'm wondering, what the F are you talking about? But he's a very good player. Very, very good player. I'm not gonna call him a superstar yet. I don't think he's a superstar yet. He's a star.
Yeah, he's a star.
Superstar. He's just like right now, especially if he's over here complaining about double teams. So
yeah, come on, dude.
Stop. Figure it out. Pass the ball out the field. Take on the double and find ways to score.
Just go opposite field. It's not that big of a deal.
It really is.
If they're gonna put the shift on, you go opposite field. It's really not hard. I know I'm talking baseball. It's not hard. Like, if you were being double teamed, guess what? There's somebody open. Pass.
Here's a concept too. How about you move without the ball? How about you stop passing?
Hello now.
How about you stop passing the ball, standing there at the same spot, waiting to get it back? How about you move without the ball?
He does do that a lot. Now that you point that out, dude, he's probably the worst.
Yeah.
And he'll take 3 steps back, which is never really understood. So when I was in basketball, this is what the coach always told me. He says, when you progress the ball, don't go back. You always progress towards the rim. So when I play, I don't really like once it hits a certain point as we move it in, I don't like going back unless it's just like back to the 3-point line and then, shot or move in. I have always wondered why these players will dribble all the way into the corner, right? And they come all the way back to half court and then look for a pass. I'm like, you're retreating too much. Go towards the rim. Like, that's where you go. It's towards the rim. I have never understood that because my coach always told me, he goes, we do not retreat, we progress. And then I sit here and watch this in the NBA. I'm like, well, you're going against everything I've ever been taught. it's like, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't a basketball player, but it's what I was always taught. Progress. You never go back. And then I watch Anthony Edwards come running in, pass from half court, and then he stays right there. And I'm like, now that you said it, now I'm sitting here in my head going, go to the rim. Go to the rim. And he'll take 2 steps back, get the ball. And then pass. And take 2 steps back and get the ball. I'm like,
move a little bit. Yeah, and he's shooting more threes than he ever has. And that's another thing. This is what I was saying before, Patrick. Just because you can hit a 3-pointer, that does not make you a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. If your name is Steph Curry, you're a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards.
If your name is not Steph Curry, you're not a 3-point shooter. Go to the rim. It's seriously, or Klay Thompson. If your name is Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, 2 threes, you're a 3-point shooter, right? If your name is anything other than Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, you are not a 3-point shooter. Go to the rim. You can shoot a 3 every now and then. Andrew Bottom.
No. Uh,
Yeah, I shot it, and I'll do it again.
oh my gosh, dude.
Dude, he is. But dude, I would love to hang out with that guy, but I'd never have him on my team.
No. And to close it out, Patrick, here's something refreshing. So they were talking to Jason Tatum, and Jason Tatum had said if he's going to miss games, this is why I say this is refreshing. He said if he's going to miss games, he doesn't want to miss a road game because he understands that could be the only time in the year they see them come through. And
Respect.
Yeah, it's a throwback. This is a throwback to the players back, of course, when Jordan and Bird and Barkley and Magic, you know the list. And
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe, and even
Them guys ain't missing a game period though.
Yeah,
Home or away, they ain't missing.
Yeah, and so now you have someone who sounds like they get it. Now, look, I get it. We're not going to sit here and the teams have a responsibility to themselves. And if they feel like they can sit, if they need to sit players to get them rest on the second night of back-to-back, whatever. I mean, we get it. But for the people who do come to these games, who pay however much money, for not just the games, but for the parking, for the concessions, and everything else that comes with going to a game.
The hotel room.
Yeah.
The gas to get there or the plane ride to get there.
So you want to make sure these, if they're coming, if the Boston Celtics are their favorite team and they're coming to a Western Conference city, this might be the only time they get to see them. So if you are able to make it out to a game in whatever Western Conference city, any of the ones in Texas, maybe it's Phoenix, Golden State, it's just good to hear Jason Tatum say, man, I'm not trying to miss any of these road games, because he understands that's the only time you get to see him in the year, you know?
Yeah, I'll say this, respect. I mean, respect. Even if you're on the East Coast and you're coming down to Atlanta or Miami, you know, it's a little easier to get to Boston from Miami, but you know what? It's still a lot of money. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you know, him coming to Miami or Atlanta or, like you said, Houston or wherever, or I'm not sorry, Dallas. Well, Houston too. Yeah, they got the Rockets. But for him to say that and understand that from a fan standpoint, that he understands that this may be the only chance they get to see him play. Hey, mad respect, dude. Mad respect, because he understands it from our standpoint. And you know, if I ever had a chance to watch, and I've always regretted this, I never got a chance to watch Kobe Bryant play. You know what I mean? So I've always regretted that. But I can tell you, I had my chances. He played in every single game. 82 games. Every time Charles, just put it this way. He dislocated a finger. Popped that bit right back in place and went back and played. You know what I mean? Shot free throws on like a broken ankle or something. I mean, this guy wasn't coming out.
Ruptured his Achilles tendon on that play.
What's that?
He ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah, that's what it was. He ruptured his Achilles tendon and still shot his 2 free throws and was like walking off, like on his own accord. So, like, this man does not come out because he not only does he respect the game enough to play it. To me, that's respect enough to the other players to say, hey, look, you deserve the best. So each and every night, I'm going to give you the best. And if you can beat me, you earned it. If you beat the Lakers, you earned it, because I'm not coming out just because we got it all locked up, you know. No, he had it all locked up several times and he still came out and played. So if Tatum is really saying this and he really truly means it, mad respect. I appreciate it, because the fans deserve to watch you get to play, because they do pay your salary.
All right, well, Patrick, before we get out, man, what's coming up for Bro Epic as we head into this new year?
So Bro Epic is starting a new little thing that we got going on Instagram and Facebook, where we're doing Motivational Monday, motivational. I can't even say it now. Hold on. Morning motivational Mondays or something like that. Anyway, so check those out. I'm gonna start putting those out every Monday. So we got those coming starting tomorrow, Thursday, Wednesday, whatever day this is. Starting Wednesday, we are releasing all of our Pop Darts challenges from our tournament. We have some really cool things in the work. Like I said, like I've mentioned before, we have a few local businesses that we are partnered up with and doing a couple of shows. So we got a show in January, another show in March, and another show in April. I am trying my best to get into a couple of places like Urban Air, and I'm trying to get a sit down with some people at 99 Rock so we can do a really cool show with our local radio station as well. So a lot of cool things coming up for Bro Epic, and and don't forget, go and hit that subscribe button and that follow button. Pop Darts for the first 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will do a Pop Darts giveaway for each one of the channels. You're automatically entered, so you can win a set of Pop Darts. At 2,500, we're doing another giveaway for a bucket golf set, and then at 5,000, giving away that PlayStation. So go and hit it, follow and subscribe.
All right, and shoot, for BOFA Sports, be on the lookout for. We got to bring some of these games back. We've been running this banner, and I don't know if we've done a hashtag episode.
We've done a hashtag episode in a while. Yeah. You need to bring back some of those games.
Yes.
Like STUF. Is that what it calls?
Yes.
SCFU. Yeah, we gotta bring that back.
SCFU club. Yes. You gotta bring that back.
Anthony Edwards almost made that club.
Yeah.
Just say,
So there are some things coming up. Again, look for interviews to come onto this show as well. And if I'll have to talk to you about this more, Patrick, but we'll see how often we want to do a Friday episode for it as well. So we'll see how that schedule works out. But just like with Bro Epic, lots of good things, lots of interesting things coming up as well. And 2025, plan for this to be, the year of our products. So with that, thanks for tuning in. I forgot, let's see, there was a Twitch user, what was that? Is that Dick Carolina? I think I'm hearing. They said yo. So I'll say yo back. Sorry that I didn't see. I
didn't even see it either. But hey, appreciate you getting on here. Oh, and Aaron.
The comment. Yeah.
Thanks for the beard. I love that comment. It's fire.
Sorry, I didn't see the comment from Dick Carolina there. My bad. So glad that you tuned in, and we hope that you like what you heard and come on back and interact with us. And we'll be better about catching your comment next time. Really apologize for that. Aaron, thanks for tuning in. Philip, you as well. And with that, we are signing off. So that's what we are breathing on for tonight. Y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. Again, everybody, we hope y'all had a great holiday season and we're coming into 2025 refreshed and ready to do some big things out here. So enjoy the games that are coming up in the playoffs, both college and the pros. And we will talk to y'all around the same time next week. Y'all take care.